Today on our 2014 Ram 1500, we're going to be taking a look at the DeeZee Nerf Bars in black, part number DeeZee 372251. Now they're also available in stainless steel, part number DeeZee 372253. So here's what our DeeZee steps look like when they're fully installed. And not only are they going to give our truck a stylish look, but they're also going to serve the purpose to help us get in and out of our truck with confidence. We're going to have 3 inches wide round bars with a molded plastic tread that's going to make sure that we have a secure footing whether we're getting in or out of our truck. Our bars are going to feature a black powder coat finish, which is not only going to blend well with the factory trim on your truck, but it's also going to complement any color. Now on each end of the bar it's going to have a mandrel bend, which means it's going to have that structural integrity, but also give us that stylish look where it kind of goes underneath the cab instead of just stopping and hanging out back here. Now our bars are going to have a steel construction, and the powder coat finish on the bars as well as the brackets are going to help resist rust and corrosion. Now these are the cab length bars, which means they're going to go from the front of our cab and they're going to stop at the back. And since we have a crew cab here, we are going to have the front step as well as the back step. Now each one of our steps is going to be 21 inches long by 3 inches wide and have a nice tread pattern here to make sure we have a secure footing. Now that we've seen what they look like and gone over some of the features, let's go ahead and show you how to get them installed. So we're going to start on our driver's side to begin our install, and we're going to want to come right behind the driver's side front tire, just on the inside in between our frame and the body. Now if we come to the inside of the body right here, you can see these gray section squares that are marked out. That's because originally from the factory these holes are going to be covered up with some tape or a sticker, but ours don't have them. So if yours does, go ahead and peel those back to expose those 2 oblong holes. Now we're going to be using the first oblong hole as well as the second one, and then this hex-shaped hole right here for our mounting locations. You're going to want to grab the 10mm bolt plate and the corresponding plastic washer. It's going to fit a little snug, and we're just going to thread it onto the end of it just a little bit, just enough so you can grab the bolt still. We're actually going to feed that into that hole, and that plastic washer is really just there to help it from falling inside the frame, so we don't have to worry about dropping it. Once you have it inside the frame, you're going to want to thread that washer plate on as much as you can get it, and mind you, it's not going to get real snug. It's just going to keep that bolt from going inside. Now for the rear attachment point here in the front, we're going to have the same kind of style, but it's going to have a 12mm bolt with a 10mm nut welded to the plate. Now we're going to grab the larger plastic washer, and we're going to do the same type of thing. We're just going to thread it on just a bit so we can still have a hold of it. We're going to feed the plate into the frame, and again grab the bolt and rotate that washer until it's nice and snug and holding it in place. We're going to want to grab the driver's front bracket, and we're going to know because they're stamped and labeled with a DF for driver's front. So if we take it with the bend, following the bend in our vehicle, we're going to line up the holes, and we're going to slide it over that 10mm bolt right there. And we're going to come back and secure it with a flat washer, followed by a 10mm lock washer, and then finally a nut following it up. So we're going to take one of our 10mm bolts, followed by a lock washer, and then a flat washer. We're going to line up our bracket, rotate the weld nut into position, and then loosely thread the bolt in. Now we don't want to tighten this all the way down, we just want to go hand tight, so we still have a little bit of movement, but just get it nice and snug so we can make any adjustments if we need to. With our bracket loosely attached, we're going to want to grab the driver's side support brace, and again it's going to be marked with a D, so we're going to know that it's the right one. Now this is going to attach directly to the body mount up top and line up with this hole on the bottom of our bracket. Now if you notice, there's only going to be one way we're going to be able to put this on to where it lines up. So the brace on the driver's side, this extra piece here should be going towards the back. So in order to get that bolt out, I'm going to take an 18mm socket and remove that bolt completely. Now we can line our bracket up and make sure we have it in the correct orientation. We're going to take that factory bolt, slide it through the bracket, and reinstall it. Now when we put this back in, you don't want to tighten it down all the way. You just want to take up some of the slack and get it nice and snug. With the front bracket on, we're going to move to the back side, and we're going to be coming right in front of the wheel well, but still on the cab of our truck. Now our attachment points again are going to be underneath the sticker if yours is still there. We're going to be using the oblong hole and the hex-shaped hole that's towards the front of the cab. So you're going to want to grab another one of the bolt and nut plates and another one of those 12mm plastic washers, and we're going to put it in the same way we did with the front. We can grab the rear bracket now. It's marked with the DR so we know it's the correct one. And again, we're going to make sure that it's facing, following the lines of our body. So you want that L shape to line up with the L shape on your truck. Now this time it is going to be slightly different how we mount it. We're going to rotate that nut into position. And again, we're going to take a 10mm bolt, flat washer, and lock washer, and we're going to loosely install it in place. And once you have it started and threaded, again, you just want to leave it kind of hand tight so we can make any kind of adjustments later on if we need to. And up top for that 12mm bolt, we're going to follow it up with a flat washer, split lock washer, and secure it down with a nut. Just want to leave everything tight and snug, but enough so you can make those adjustments if you need to. Now with an extra set of hands, I'm going to have him hold the bar in place while I get my hardware ready, and we're going to take a 1/2-inch bolt, followed by a lock washer, and then finally a flat washer, and we're going to go through our bracket into the weld nut that's on the bar. We're just going to get these in there hand tight so we can get the other one in place. One thing I want to mention, the way you're going to know if it's a left or right side step is towards the front of our step. We're going to have the short section. It's going to be shorter than the back is, and the step here is going to line up with the seat if we open the door and double check. So now we can go ahead and make sure that our bars are nice and straight and level, and once we get them adjusted, we can go ahead and start tightening them up. For my 10mm hardware, I'm going to come back with a 16mm socket and tighten everything up. And we'll move to the back and tighten those up as well. For the 12mm hardware, I'm going to be using an 18mm socket to snug it up. For my 1/2-inch hardware, I'm going to be using a 3/4-inch socket to tighten it up. And we'll do that for the back as well. Finally, using an 18mm socket, I'm going to tighten up that body bolt all the way. And now that the driver's side is on, we're going to go ahead and repeat that whole process on the passenger side. And that'll finish up our look at the 3-inch round DeeZee Nerf Bars, part number DZ372251 on our 2014 Ram 15.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.